Okay, Judy at 6 o'clock.
Okay, thank you, Larry. If you would, please stand and do the flag salute. You would join me. I pledge allegiance to the
Flag
flag
of the
United States of America,
and to the republic
for which it stands, one
one
nation,
Under
under
God,
God,
indivisible.
indivisible,
with liberty
liberty
and
and justice for all.
Thank you, folks. That, let me see if maybe a little better. Okay, next we have approval of the agenda. Commissioners, do you have anything you want to change or add? If not, then I would like to hear a motion to accept the agenda.
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda.
Do I hear a
I'll second. Yes.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you. Next is public comment. Who would like to go first? And we ask that you do 3 minutes.
I'll be happy to go first.
Okay,
I missed the last meeting because it was improperly posted. Does that mean I get 6 minutes or keep it at 3?
3.
Okay, well, that's fine. I can get it even shorter than that. Watch me. Okay, so first of all, just for the record, I want to make sure that the Port of Allyn and the viewers understand that a lawsuit was filed last month against the Port of Allyn. I filed that lawsuit. Okay, that's all we'll be discussing tonight. I have had conversations though with Port Counsel Joe Brogan, and he seems like an upstanding guy. Actually, I'm really encouraged by our discussion. So just FYI, it's because of that that I'm abstaining from discussing that complaint tonight. The next thing is with regard to last month's meeting that was posted, it was posted as in person. I went to the building, but I couldn't get in. With regards to that, I'd ask the port to consider whatever it did at that last meeting to follow the statute, nullify what they did, and then redo it in a public meeting. Okay, next thing, partiality. Look, I've been a public official. I'm still a public servant, actually, for our local fire department. Partiality is crucial not to have present in any public office, okay? And what I've been experiencing, and others have been experiencing, especially Ken Van Buskirk, is we're experiencing extreme applications of partiality by our public officials. And Ted, not so much with you. I'm not running into that with you, but the other public officials I am. So I want the port to really look at their oath of office, the commissioners, and really take a look at what that oath of office says and what they're sworn to do. And then try to understand what partiality is, and then change the behavior to make partiality absent from their conduct, because otherwise there'll be horrible consequences with regard to that partiality. All right, how am I doing, Judy?
you have 1 minute left.
Uh-oh, okay. All right, now, transparency. I don't know what's going on in the port. Others I talk to don't know what's going on in the port. And that's a good gauge of whether the port's being transparent or not. So in closing, well, actually, one more thing. With regard to, apparently on the agenda, there's some discussion about a party thing on the Port of Allyn dock and what have you. Well, I thought we talked about that 2 months ago, and it was discussed that wasn't going to happen. My vote on that is no, from a liability standpoint as a shareholder in this port. No, because we don't want the liability. Final thing is this. I understand the port received a cease and desist letter from Washington Water. I'd like to know what the status of that, what's occurred on that. In addition, according to Larry's executive director report, it looks like he's entertaining Public Utility District number 1 as well for taking over the port's water system, if I understood that report correctly. I would like to know what's motivated that and what's happening on that. And that's it. I'm done. How'd I do?
You're done. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Could I get an answer or not?
In regard to which one?
Just Washington Water's letter of cease and desist, what's happening on that?
I'll address that. We had a meeting with their attorney and our attorney. We outlined the service areas. there were two connections that we thought were in our service area that are actually in theirs. We rescinded the water availability letter for those two connections, and that is the sum total of everything.
Thank you. And lastly, what about PUD 1? What's going on there?
Nothing.
Okay, what's in your report?
Well, what's in my report about PUD 1 is we talked to them if they were interested in becoming our water system manager. They said, as long as you have anything to do with the port in any way whatsoever, they are not interested.
Okay, do you have a name of who you spoke to?
Kristen Masteller, the general manager.
Okay, thank you. Okay, guys, and I'll just watch the rest later. Do you mind? I gotta go running.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, next person.
My name is Art Fawcett, and I'm not really sure how this all works. I'm new to this whole thing. I don't even know if you guys can hear me.
Yes, we can.
I am the guy that throws the parties on the dock.
Okay, you're on the Art, you're on the agenda under new business.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Thank you, Larry.
That's great. So you're gonna wait? Art?
Oh, no,
right?
I once again, I don't know how
Okay.
this works. This is my first meeting with the port. And I don't know if I am next in line to talk or if someone else talks or if we just was that Brad Carey that was just on?
Yeah, it's
Yes.
me.
Okay, Brad, this is Art. You know me.
Okay,
And I know Judy Scott. I've met Larry. Last year, during COVID, we started, well, I had an idea. I was sitting down on the dock in my boat and I thought this is a beautiful venue for the public to be able to get together. And when they shut everything down and to be able to social distance. So last year I actually spent $8,000 to throw these events on a Saturday afternoon, during times that most people are out and about. Now, they are starting to do it all over the place. Mason Lake, Hoodstock was last weekend. I was fortunate to be able to attend. We took the boat there. As far as liability goes, my insurance covers all the liability. We police the dock. We make sure that the trash is cleaned up. We police the parking. I've been able to talk to most of the neighbors down there, which I know personally. I've done work for most of them. And they're all in favor. Last year, it was just an awesome event. People brought friends and family, had bonfires on the beach, and during a time that the public was in desperate need of something to break the day-to-day stress that everyone has gone through during these trying times. We were trying to present that. And I understand that there are some complaints, and I understand, Brad, that you have concerns for liability. Once again, we covered all of those last year. I was insured. We welcome other boaters. We help them come in. The Port of Allyn is a first come, first served basis. If people come in late in the day, then we try and accommodate all of that. And these events to me bring people to the Port of Allyn, which is once again a beautiful place that no one really knew about until last year. We average about 25 to 30 people. And as far as parking and things like that, once again, if you've ever been down there on a shrimp season,
Hey, Art? Art?
yes, ma'am.
It's your time. Your 3 minutes is up. And we
Thank you,
can,
Judy.
and if you'll hang in there, Art, you are on the agenda and then you can have as much time as you want. So would you hang in there?
Thank you, Judy. Yes, I will.
Okay, thank you so much.
and Art, I appreciate hearing from you, Art.
Yes, Brad. Good to see you again.
Okay, anybody else?
Yeah, I'll speak up if I may. Eric Soline, I'm a little shocked by the statement that Art just made, to be honest. He's either being disingenuous or he's being incomplete in his information. I am one of the 4 neighbors on the beach side between the 2 docks. None of the 4 of us are in favor of this. We are the closest neighbors. None of us have given our thumbs up as tacit approval, as Art just discussed. Times when we are out and about, we have to be on Saturday. I cannot use my beach property on Saturday and could not any Saturday last summer because of the noise. Art says he was insured. Did that include the crime spree that took place after the events last year? There were at least 4 kayaks that I know that were stolen after the events last summer from local neighbors. Yeah, no, I'm not in favor of it at all. I cannot use my property when that's going on because of the noise. Question I have, what are the noise ordinances in Mason County? How loud can he be?
I think it's 10,000 decibels until 10 o'clock at night.
So no, basically no limitation, basically is what you're saying.
Yeah, pretty much until 10 o'clock at night. Yeah.
Thank you.
Eric, anything else?
No, that's my 2 cents worth.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Anybody else?
See me?
Jeff is waving his hand.
Who?
Jeff,
Jeff,
Yeah, who?
Oh, because I can't see him. I'm sorry. I don't know why
No
the
problem.
screen isn't normal. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, I'll save my comments mostly to the end. Most of my comments relate to either the executive report or the different businesses you have. And so I don't think it's proper yet until the commission discuss it to go into any depth of the different things, i.e. from the executive director's report or the the other business you have later on, like discussing the comprehensive plan or the cash balance sheet or that kind of thing. So I'll hold to the end on those, and hopefully I can fit it all in the 3 minutes.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. There, I got my screen in order. Anybody else? I don't see anybody else raising their hand or anything.
Okay, well, thanks, guys. I'm going to disappear now, and nice hearing from everybody in public comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're now at our consent agenda items, which is the regular meeting minutes of August 2nd. I've had a chance to review and everything looked good to me, but I do need to hear a motion to approve.
I'll make a
no other-
motion. I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda items.
Okay, second.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, so moved, and that's approval of the regular meeting minutes of August 2nd. Next is the action items, general fund vouchers, payroll vouchers, water fund vouchers, general fund vouchers, and the water fund voucher as well, another one. Would anybody like to read the amounts?
Yes, I'll do it, Commissioner. Action item A, payment of general fund vouchers number 21-090-1001 to 21-090-1026 for $17,006.34. Payment of item number B, payment of payroll vouchers 21-09-02-001 to 21-09-009 for $17,897.40. Payment of water fund vouchers number 21-09-03-001 to 21-09-004 for $1,145.92. And I believe Leanne has 2 more items that need to be approved on the vouchers.
Yes, there's a general fund voucher for $4,644.11.
Okay,
And another water fund voucher for $2,322.
so I will make a motion to approve action items 5 for payment of all the general fund vouchers and payroll vouchers and water fund.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, so moved. Okay, commissioner reports. Who'd like to go first?
I will. I attended the general meeting. I also attended a couple of other meetings, but the biggest meeting, and we'll have a resolution tonight, is the Salmon Task Force meeting. And then I've been gone for a lot of part of this month. So that is my report. And I've also been working with the, hopefully our 100th year goes off really well.
Excellent. Thank you, John.
I don't have a whole big, I had surgery in the middle of September, excuse me, August, so I was just kind of like a cat in the corner licking my wounds, so I didn't really have anything to bring to the table as far as my activities recently, so.
Okay, well, hopefully you're better.
Yeah, oh, I am, and I had the crud too, but it's gone.
Good.
Although,
Excellent.
yeah,
Okay, August 2nd, I attended the regular meeting. August 3rd, we kind of did an Oyster House meeting, but there wasn't a quorum, so we just kind of chatted a little bit with Bonnie. Thank you, Bonnie. August 12th, I did an EDC meeting via Zoom, which I forgot to tell you, Leanne. And I'll be on the nominating committee for EDC. August 28th, I went down with Jason, the chair for ACA, Richard Bell, Barbara, and the captain with all their friends and spouses. And we caravaned down to Astoria and to take a look at the MV Kirkland. It's quite a historic converted car ferry boat. After taking a tour of the boat, although it's lots of history and some fine woodwork, it is a working boat, but it's in the need of a lot of restoration and repairs. So I think the ACA should take a closer look at the costs involved. And although the concept of the event ship is good, there's many things that need to be negotiated and decided on. And I shared with them some of our concerns as well. So the captain had a friend with a tour boat that got us on the board the ferry, and we spent about 45 minutes to an hour on the boat. And the captain gave us some history and plans to restore the boat. And there was also a 501c3 organization that got some grants to restore the boat. So it has been restored to a degree. And although this isn't port related, North Mason Community Voice now has a new board, and they're beginning to transition and transferring of the paperwork. They're all local people, pretty close. Well, I don't recall all their names offhand, but I'll get that out to everybody so you can reach out to them. The chair is the lead clerk at Key Bank. Her name is Pauline. So reach out to her. And that's it. Okay, next on the agenda, security officers report.
Okay, I'll read that. 8/5/21, 8:54 PM, let a non-payment ticket for what looks to be an abandoned trailer. No license plates or any other identifiable mark. The executive director found someone to remove it. It remained until August 20th. 8/7/21, 9:20 PM. Upon arrival at launch pier at the North Shore, there's a vessel moored at the end of the launch pier. On inspection, the vessel is occupied and the owner had paid for moorage for one night. I proceeded to explain to him the storage area for vessels was north of the launch ramp, and he was parked in the wrong spot. He claimed the storage pier was too full, and it was just there until first light. I assured him there was room at the storage area, but he looked very tired and figured if he was going to be out of there at first light, there wasn't any harm just letting him stay right where he was. And that is the security officer's report.
Okay, next is your report, Larry, Executive
Okay,
Director.
and I want to warn you all in advance, I've had bronchitis for about a week and a half now, so if I cough through this, that's why. Financial issues, things have seemingly leveled out. We aren't expecting any big expenditures between now and the end of the year. Our revenue streams are performing well, especially considering that we budgeted very conservatively in light of the COVID situation. Bookings for weddings and events at the gazebo are tapering off, but they always do at this time of year. However, we're still receiving bookings from Docwa for both Allyn and Hood Canal. So Docwa has been a good investment for us. We've not yet received the final closeout of the staging area expense reimbursements for RCO, but it is in the pipeline. We have about $30,000 in reimbursements that come from Commerce, which include bill raise services and the final reimbursement for Art Anderson's bill for the engineering for the Oyster House. We've included an updated budget versus actual report in your meeting packet, and we will continue to do this as standard practice going forward. One item to take note of is that we didn't budget very much at all in timber trust money, but we have collected in excess of $50,000 so far this year. I know that was a question that Commissioner Jackson had asked earlier in the year. We do have expenses related to the new well and legal expenses related to the water system, but these are coming out of the water fund, not the general fund. Executive session, we will need to schedule a special meeting to hold another executive session with our attorney sometime in the near future to discuss litigation issues and options as well. I will consult with our attorney and coordinate with all of you with everyone. Water system issues. We continue moving forward on the new well. We had the property surveyed to mark the corners so we know what we own and where we can drill. I also met with the surveyor and walked the property with him, so I know exactly where those corners are. There was an issue with an easement we needed to work out, and I met with the property owner who agreed to give us what we need. As noted previously, we're going to have to install a booster pump up near the tank to equalize water pressure with the rest of the system for the existing new homes and the others to be built up there. The engineering for this is just about finished, and I met with the engineer and Joe Cederlin about what is needed there in terms of construction, as well as where the new water lines will be run. As I stated previously, I've not been at all happy with Northwest Water Systems Water System Management Division's ability to provide the services we request or solve problems in a timely manner. I met with the manager of Belfair Water and his right-hand guy a couple of weeks ago. We went over things in detail, did an inspection of all our facilities and equipment. At this point, we're waiting on a proposal from them based on the scope of work Northwest Water Systems is supposed to be performing. I previously put in a call to PUD number 1 to judge their interest in providing this service as well. I spoke with the general manager and she said as long as Brad Carey is involved in our water system in any way whatsoever, they have zero interest in even discussing it. As a courtesy to me, however, she did run it by her board and the answer didn't change. Meetings with both Washington Water, Belfair Water, and PUD number 1, all are willing to discuss cooperating on prompting the county commissioners to establish countywide coordinated water system service plan. Jeff Carey is also interested in working on this as well. From what I've been led to understand about the possibility of federal funding for the well from the bailout money the state will receive, we needed to make a formal request to the county and engage our lobbyists as well. I submitted the SEDS request form to see the EDC required for this, but haven't heard anything yet, but our lobbyists are on it as well. Finally, our attorney has suggested we make some small changes, small modifications to our water system plan to address several issues. Those are on your agenda for discussion and action tonight. Redistricting, this is something we were originally slated to have done by November. However, because the census data was delayed in being delivered to the counties, it's been postponed until November of next year. We'll require hiring a consultant, but we have time to sort all that out now. Excuse me. Public records issue. Due to the amount of voicemail on everyone's port phones, we're running out of storage space. Since we have to retain those for public records purposes, we have a temp in to begin transcribing all the voicemails from everyone's phone. She will sign an affidavit for each and every phone stating their verbatim transcripts and record the date the transcription took place. She will also record the date and time of each message she transcribes. I will set up a schedule for this with each of you for your phones. Security camera issues. Our cameras at all our locations are up and running, sort of. There's still have issues to work through with the vendor to completely deploy them as we intended, but we're closer than we've ever been from the start. We now have the software installed on our computers, but need to learn how to use it properly. It's not yet on our phones, but will be shortly. Most of the cameras are aimed where we want them, but a couple still need to be moved. We finally got what we needed on the dock here, so we can see all of the cameras. We can see all the slips with good clarity. I'm sorry. On the North Shore, the cellular just hasn't worked for accessing the cameras or aiming them. The PUD couldn't help us out, but Wave has Wi-Fi out there and we're signed up with them for those cameras. I was out there on Tuesday with our IT guy to get the Wi-Fi set up, but we need to get electric to the unit. We also have to move one of the cameras at the marina so we can see the pay machine. This has required us to install another pole for the camera to mount on, but it also sees the entire parking lot across the street. I'm hopeful that by the end of next week, everything will finally be up and running. Also, we purchased a flat screen TV to install here at the office, display the camera feeds from all those places. Paid for that out of the Marina grant, and it should be installed and ready to go shortly as well. North Shore Pay Station. A new pay station at the North Shore has been installed. However, we needed to change out the electrical service disconnect with a new panel to get power to the machine to get it up and running. This was required to meet the state's newly implemented electrical code. This was finally completed last week, and all we need is for Northwest Parking to come out and set it all up to go, which we expect to happen tomorrow. Other security issues. As you all heard, Barry Betzinger commented last month that drug activity in the park has seemed to pick up significantly since the PUD installed the Wi-Fi. And we have seen obvious tweakers there in the park during the day as well. Barry said that 6 months ago, people would meet facing the water, but now they meet by the shed and the grapevine areas of the parking lot during the day. Leanne and I chased out one of those ourselves last week, who was doing business right next to the big toy. And as you know, calling the sheriff is a total waste of time, considering the legislature's attempt at police reform. Commissioner Jackson stated he's chasing people off from behind the grapevines as well, said he will ask Fish and Wildlife officers if they could spend more time in the park. But what we've regretfully decided to do after much soul searching is to lock the park at night. We've got an estimate from a fencing contractor, but he didn't realize this was a prevailing wage job, so he's rebidding it. I got the estimate this afternoon about 4:30. It added about $900 to the original cost. The job will include gates both at the main parking lot and by the Oyster House. It will tie into the existing fencing at the end of the staging area and by the shed, so no cars can get in there with the gates locked. Travis will lock them when he does his evening rounds, which is around 9 or so. Don will unlock them in the morning when he gets here, which is usually between 6 and 7. We've also talked to the PUD and they have shut down the free Wi-Fi at 8 p.m. as well. Port Centennial. Things are moving ahead nicely. The brass plaque has been shipped and should arrive any day now. James Kelsey has put the finishing touches on the artwork. He sent me a picture of it this afternoon late. And Keith Chamberlain will cast the monument this week once he has both of those. We're sending out invitation, passing out flyers in the community. Norm Dix has agreed to be our keynote speaker, and I will write up his remarks this coming week. Governor Inslee declined due to the schedule conflict. It should be an event we can all be proud to be part of. Website updates. We'll be refreshing our website with some new pictures, including drone shots that are going to be taken this weekend, and perhaps simplifying the navigation somewhat. We're also looking into using our security cameras as a webcam. But truthfully, it's going to be early next year before we can really get to this. Joint resolution with the Port of Grapeview. On your agenda tonight is a joint resolution with the Port of Grapeview to establish a Case Inlet Fishery Task Force to study the situation and report back to each Board of Commissioners. Commissioner Jackson's been working on this and has agreed to be our representative. So I can go into old business if you'd like.
Yes, please.
Oyster House, as you know, our funding request for this project was included in the capital budget. We were awarded $344,000 to complete the project. We also have an additional $10,000 to work with for the parking lot repairs if it's damaged during the Oyster House project. which we may need to use some of after the launch ramp is removed. We're still waiting on the Army Corps permit. WPPA has taken the lead in this issue and is assembling information from every port in the state about the status of their Corps permits. Port associations in other states are doing the same. And I got a letter that was sent to me by Representative Kilmer at about 5 o'clock that I forwarded on to you. We may see some kind of a resolution to the stalemate between the Corps and NIMS at some point, but at least there's something happening here. So, however, let me see. Where did I get here? Okay, we did receive a positive answer on the question of using our existing hydraulic permit to at least take out the old launch ramp now the fish window is reopened. That work will be completed before this weekend is over. Rex Wallingford, who's coordinating demolition, expects it won't take long. Disney and Associates providing a heavy-duty excavator that Rex said he needs, and they will do that part of it. While they're there, they're going to take down the totem pole, dig the hole for the Centennial Monument, as well as dig up whatever the water leak issues we have by the bottom of the stairs in the gazebo. So Disney gave us a bid of $26,000, but whatever it does cost us will be reimbursed by one of the 3 Oyster House grants. Sweetwater Park, nothing new to report on all this, except that Travis walked the property with Ken Van Buskirk recently. Mr. Van Buskirk also sent an email that said he believes we are in compliance with the original grant. I've asked him for particulars on this so we can investigate his claim. All ports meeting, there hasn't been a date set for the next meeting yet that I'm aware of, but if it's an in-person meeting, it'll be held at the Port of Brownsville. Otherwise, it'll be held via Zoom. Just as an aside to all this, at the last meeting, I reported that Carol Ellinger, who headed up the Port Orchard Office's State Auditor's Office, which oversees our audits, had accepted the port manager job in Brownsville. She has since resigned. Criminalization of marina rules. Commissioner Jackson will be working with the sheriff to move this forward once the camera issues are worked out. And that's my report. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Larry. Any questions? No? Okay, moving on to new business items. First item on the agenda is you, Art.
Thank you, Judy. The first thing I would like to address is this comment, and I don't know his name, the gentleman, about the crime that was committed at the Port of Allyn last year, the 4 kayaks. The people that show up at this event are all business folks in Belfair. So what I hear him saying is that business folks in Belfair might have stole his kayaks. Surely that did not happen. There are homeless issues down there also. We deal with those. We have sent, as Larry said, tweakers packing. Once again, we do police. No one gets overly rowdy down there. It's a good group of folks that are just out to enjoy the public dock that the Port of Allyn has provided. As far as noise, we don't turn the music up louder than, we are definitely, and I have a decimal meter. We can check whether we are 10,000 decibels or not. And I understand that future projects for the North Shore are a possible burger stand. I just purchased a food truck. I would like to be a part of the growth of the North Shore. Again, it's a beautiful place and it is there for the public. And last year we did, we were set some stipulations and we covered most of them. In fact, we covered all of them. Insurances, the policing again. And there were a few people disreputable that showed up and they got sent packing. We are not trying to interfere with anyone's weekend at their home. We're trying to create something on the Hood Canal for the Hood Canal. Some of you might remember Belfair Days, for instance. The whole community would get together and businesses would open up, and it's become now the taste of Hood Canal, where everyone goes down to the park. And I think the last time I was there was a lot of vinyl windows and insurances being sold in vinyl siding. This particular event, as it grows and as we proceed with it, if we find that we're going to, again, we can take anything that might happen and fix it. There is going to be naysayers. I know that. I would just like to convince the board that this is a good thing for our community. I run 5 businesses in the Belfair and Mason County area. I've been in business for 25, going on 30 years now. I own HD's Pub, the Belfair Bunkhouse. I just purchased the food truck, as I said, and I run a tree service, which has enabled me to know most of the people in our community. I just really don't know what I can say to convince the board that this is a good opportunity for the public to just enjoy what you have to offer. And I guess at that point, I've run out of things to say.
Okay, thank you, Art.
Thank you, Judy.
And I guess Larry had sent you some information about some things that needed to be addressed. Did you get those?
Yes, ma'am. My wife has it in Seattle at this point. I tried to
Okay.
get a hold of her today. And as again, most of the things that Larry sent me were things that he requested information for last year. And we did address all of that. The one thing that I did not have a chance to do, my son fell from underneath the Manette Bridge on Saturday. And that's when I was going to go down and walk through the cove there and speak to the neighbors and try and get some signatures. Apparently, I know now that there's 4 homes that are not going to sign that permission slip. But I would still like to move forward and try and talk to the neighbors down there and see who would be in favor of this.
Art, when did you want to have this event?
Last year I got a protest permit. I also got a banquet license. This year I found out that it is not okay to sell anything on port property. So we will not do that until we get the permission. Essentially, it would be 5 weekends out of the year, the month of August through Labor Day. Last year, Zach offered me his dock and allowed me which allowed us to do a fireworks show, which there were no fireworks last year other than Alderbrook. Everyone was so grateful that we put on the show. And once again, it was just nothing but good vibes. So what I would like to do is the 4 weekends out of August and Labor Day weekend if possible. And I wasn't going to do Labor Day weekend, but last year, so many people ended up showing, and throughout the year, everyone was asked if we were going to do this event again. And I collected, I have funds for the Port of Allyn for the parking that we collected. In fact, I was going to bring those when I had my meeting with Larry, and he told me about this meeting. And I've yet to get back down there and give the money to Leanne. I would like to say that any funds collected, we could either go a flat fee, which right now there isn't very much because it is a small event, or we could go a percentage of what we collect. But we do collect for parking, whereas most people don't pay for the parking down there. So when we are there, and usually I am down on my boat several times a week. My partner Bill Harvey is down there several times a week. We've actually brought up a couple of boats through my other company for the Port of Allyn. I've done tree work for the Port of Allyn, some boats that were sank out there. When there's high winds, we're down there and we stopped one sailboat from going underneath the bridge. So we're there all the time. And once again, we just want to do good for the port and do good for our community.
Great, thank you, Art. Larry, did you want to share some things?
Yeah, I sent Art a list of conditions and I'm gonna go ahead and read them now. So, maybe we can get some of these questions answered. The commissioners will want to see a contract for the event. We can use the same one as last year, just change the dates. You'll need to provide proof of liability insurance with the port named as an additional insured up to $1 million. Provided this last year. If you plan to serve alcohol, you need to have a banquet permit. That's the law and something out of our control, but it's also port policy for alcohol served at port facilities.
And we did have that last year, Larry.
Yeah, I know. The
Okay.
commissioners will expect a percentage of verifiable revenue from the food truck. Need to provide life jackets for children upon request, and I think maybe perhaps for adults would be a good idea.
Yes, sir.
If you're going to get the neighbors to sign a petition in favor of this, you need to have them include their addresses, so it can't be argued these are just random signatures.
One question on that. And once again, I already know that the gentleman that spoke earlier, he said that 4 of his neighbors are going to be in opposition of this. Is there a percentage of the neighbors that would be acceptable?
That's not my decision.
Okay.
I don't really know. I
Yeah.
don't have an
Okay.
answer on that one, Art, for myself. Anything else, commissioners?
That's just a really good question. We'll have to get feedback from the community there. It's an important part of this equation. I'd like to hear more, And then I did have a question for him because I'm a new commissioner and I'm not privy to how the previous
Well, John, can I finish going through
yeah.
these conditions?
Okay.
That way you can ask all the questions at once.
I thought we were on to questions. Okay. no problem.
No, we got more to go.
All right.
Specify exactly what kind of entertainment will be offered. What is the impact on the neighboring properties? What are the hours of operation? How parking and revenue collection will be handled? How many attendees are expected? How the rest of the marina operations will or won't be impacted? How access to visiting boaters will work during the event? What kind of security measures will be in place? And how the state's COVID mandates will be handled. Those were all issues that I believe need to be addressed. We also got a letter or an email late this afternoon from an attorney representing some of the neighbors. And their questions are, will the crowd on the dock exceed the maximum weight capacity? No, it will not. Are there sufficient life jackets and emergency medical supplies for the number of people who will be at the dock? Does the Port of Allyn maintain insurance sufficient to shield it and the taxpayers from liability if some unfortunate event occurs during the alcohol-fueled weekend party? Is the Port of Allyn's insurance provider aware of the plan to use the marina as a party dock? What is the port's plan for parking during the weekend party? We understand that on-site parking is limited to approximately 8 cars. How does its use of the marina as a party dock compatible with use as a storage dock? So those are questions from their attorney. So, and I sent this to all of you earlier this evening, so.
Larry, could you send that to Michelle's email?
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, got your marching orders there, Art. So we'll keep in touch.
Thank you,
Anything
Judy.
else? Yeah, anything else, Art? Or
No, ma'am, I will try and answer all the questions that were asked.
okay, thanks for your patience and thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Judy.
Okay. Okay, next item on the agenda is the approval of the contract for the removal of the old launch ramp. And that's from Disney Construction.
Yeah, this is a pretty standard construction contract. It just, the amount exceeds my spending authority by $1,000.
Do I
So
hear?
I'll make a motion to approve the contract with Disney to remove the old boat ramp and
Do I hear a
approve
second?
the amount.
I'll second that.
By the way, how much was that, Larry?
$26,000.
26.
Oh, yes, correct. I'm sorry. Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so moved. Thank you, Larry.
Okay, just to clarify, it was 26 plus sales tax,
Correct.
Yes.
whatever
I'm
that.
sorry, do I need to make a new motion on that?
No,
No. Okay, resolution 424, the joint resolution with the Port of Grapeview. I've
Yeah.
had a chance to look at it.
And if you don't mind, I'd give you a little history. Back in 2000, about 2001, as a Fish and Wildlife Officer, I started seeing a decline in the salmon runs in North Bay. That the salmon runs were depleted in, can we block some people there, Larry, or I'm just getting a lot of feedback.
everybody should be. Let me mute some people here.
Thank you.
That help?
Yep, perfect. So as a Fish and Wildlife Officer, I was starting to see a depleted run of salmon. Mostly they were chum salmon coming back to North Bay, Case Inlet, and returning to either Sherwood Creek or Coulter Creek. And so over the last few years, I've talked to, when I was still working with Fish and Wildlife, talked to them. A lot of those salmon were being reintroduced to the Nisqually Delta area. And then last year, Commissioner Farmer with the Port of Grapeview and I started talking, and she came up with an idea to establish a committee, a task force to reintroduce salmon into North Bay. And if some of you remember back around 2002, 2001, we used to have salmon fishermen lining the beach all up and down Case Inlet. They wouldn't catch anything, but it was just fun seeing salmon, and I was one of them. Salmon jumping around you. And then we'd go have a bowl of clam chowder at the boathouse or Leonard K's, or go have a hamburger. But it was an important aspect in our community. We had a lot of people, and Commissioner Scott, you probably remember a lot of people fishing off our pier. There's no salmon, or very little salmon returning. And so what we've learned through our last few months of contacting not only state, tribal legislators is that the amount of salmon that are being released from the Coulter Creek hatchery has been greatly reduced. Those salmon are being trucked to the Minter Creek hatchery. And then those salmon, once they get reared to the age, are being transported down to the Nisqually Delta area to be released, so they would go back to the Nisqually area. So what we've done as a task force is we met with tribal, state, our representatives, and try to figure out what the heck is going on. How can we change it so that we get at least some salmon returning into North Bay? It's not only for catch and release, it's just that we want to see a salmon population return back to this area. So this task force was created. Most of the members are from the Grapeview area. We do have Tom Warland from the North Basin School District, who I think most of you know has been a proponent for salmon enhancement. And we also have a couple of people that have worked and have very good contacts with not only Fish and Wildlife, but the Squaxin tribe. And now we need to reach out to the Nisqually tribe. What we're trying to do is create a resolution that will ask the state and the tribes to work together to introduce more salmon back in the North Bay area. So that's what this resolution is all about. It's very simple. We have some very passionate people on the committee. And Brad Pomeroy is going to be a facilitator for that committee. Brad has been doing a wonderful job in writing initial letters to not only our state, but federal legislators to try to see if we get this done. Right now, it's been very positive. There's our meeting with the Squaxin tribe was very, very positive. So anyways, that's what the resolution, and I could read it as soon as I pull it up.
Is there going to be any cost to the port?
No, there's not. The only cost will be is hopefully one of these days, Commissioner Scott, we could see salmon coming through and we'll start seeing some people fishing on the pier again. And so the only cost would be maintenance. There's no cost to either one of our ports. So
Great. Does the Coulter Creek hatchery, is that still open?
yes, it is.
What
It
do they
is.
raise?
They raise Chinook. They'll do the primary for the White River Chinook, which is listed on the endangered species list. They'll also do some chum salmon, but it's very limited in what they're doing. They're just an initial hatchery anymore, where they used to raise some chum, and there was sockeye. They didn't raise sockeye, but sockeye used to return to Coulter Creek and Sherwood Creek, but it's mainly chum. And we have reached out to just about everyone, but the only people that have really responded to us is our state legislators and the tribe and Fish and Wildlife. So I'm trying to pull up that resolution again.
I have it here.
You want me to read it or, okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir, that'd be great.
Sure.
Okay, I'll read it. A joint resolution of the Port of Grapeview Board of Commissioners and the Port of Allyn Board of Commissioners to establish a case inlet fishery task force. Port of Grapeview Resolution number 2021-02, Port of Allyn Resolution number 424. Whereas both ports have for years received complaints of lack of salmon in Case Inlet, and whereas the condition has become exceedingly worse. Resolved that the Board of Port of Grapeview Commissioners and the Board of Port of Allyn Commissioners hereby establish a Case Inlet fishery task force to study the situation and report back to each Board of Commissioners. Resolved that each port will assign one commissioner to oversight of the task force. Respective commissioner to be assigned by motion. Resolved, task force facilitator to be designated by joint port motion. All three Port of Grapeview adopted 30th day of August 2021. All three of them signed, waiting for our move. All three commissioners are at the bottom here.
Do I hear a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. So move Port of Resolution number 424. Thank you, Ted, for your work. Getting this
It's been a
done.
pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
That was
Now-
a great report, Commissioner Jackson. Great report.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's been a good thing going on.
Very knowledgeable. Yeah.
You know, I noticed that it said in the resolution that we needed to have a resolution, an appointed commissioner. So,
I would like to make a motion to appoint Commissioner Jackson.
okay, I'll second that. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Did I hear you say aye also, Ted?
Yes, aye.
Okay, thank
All
you.
right.
Okay, so you're it, Ted. Thank you very much. Thanks for your work.
Thank you.
Appreciate that very much. Okay, the next item on the business on this is the discussion of the amendment to the port's water system plan. Larry?
Okay, this was recommended by our attorney because we've had a couple of inquiries from people that would like to have the port take over their shared wells and that. So I talked to the attorney and this is basically what he said. It's basically 2 paragraphs. In an attempt to reduce the total number of existing water systems in the state, it's a policy of the State Department of Health Office of Drinking Water that larger water systems work to facilitate consolidation of smaller water systems into their systems. These are meant to include shared well systems serving up to 6 customers, community-owned water systems serving small developments, small independently owned water systems, and exempt well systems. That consolidation can occur via outright purchase, the use of eminent domain, gifting, or any other legal method of transfer of ownership. The Department of Health offers assistance via a loan program to finance 100% of the acquisition at market value. 50% of the loan to the larger entity shall be forgiven upon closing, and the other 50% may be forgiven once the consolidation is complete. The Port of Allyn will look for opportunities to acquire these types of systems and consolidate them into the port system, as well as explore opportunities presented to them if they are A, located within the port service area, the Allyn urban growth area. B, meet the physical specifications for integration into the port's water system. C, will enhance the port's ability to serve customers within the service area. And D, makes fiscal sense for the port to acquire such systems. That's it.
Okay, and that was suggested from our attorney, correct?
Yes. And he said that it needs to be part of not only the water plan, but needs to be recorded as part of our comprehensive scheme for
Harbor
our
improvements.
comprehensive scheme update needs to be part of that.
Okay,
So,
is that in,
yeah, and it's on the list of potential projects. It's
Okay.
basically a housekeeping thing.
okay. All right, so we don't need a motion on that right now, do we?
Yes, we do.
Okay. So how do you want that motion explained?
I would just say, motion to, let me get it back up here.
Because it's an update to the water plan.
Yes,
Okay,
to the policies and water system policies and procedures manual.
okay. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to update that per the legal counsel's recommendation. The growth of the water system via the acquisition of the existing system exempt wells located inside the port service area.
Yeah, the update to the existing water plan
Yeah,
and policies.
that's correct. I will make that a motion.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Can we go to discussion? I just have a quick question to ask.
You have to have a second to be able to discuss.
Well, I'm not going to second it. I just have a quick question.
Okay, so why don't I can withdraw my motion so Commissioner Jackson can have a discussion?
Sure.
Okay, I'll withdraw my motion so the table's clear. Is that
Okay.
appropriate? Okay. And then
So-
I'll make a motion to hear discussion on that matter.
Well, you don't
Commissioner-
need to make a motion for that.
Okay.
Go ahead and ask your question, Ted.
All right.
So how would that, if we do a countywide coordinated water system plan, would that be inclusive to all the other countywide water system plan or,
No, this is just for our plan,
okay,
but
I-
when they do, if they do, and when they do a countywide plan, this would probably be inserted into most
Okay.
other systems plans as well, if it's not already in there.
okay,
A
that answered,
number of them already have this kind of language in their plans.
that answered my question.
Okay. So John, would you like to put your motion back on the table?
Yes, so I'd like to make the motion to update that plan per legal counsel's recommendation to have the language that's appropriate in there. I'd like to make that a motion right now.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, so moved. Thank you, Larry. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the potential projects to be added to the comprehensive scheme of harbor improvements. And everybody, I think, got their document in regard to that, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, this is what I gave you is an updated list from what we talked about several months ago. And the only thing that's really new on it is we have to have construction of the new well that we're under the ecology mandate to do, to put that in the comprehensive plan, and then the upgrade to the water system. Those are the only two things. There are some changes, install EV charging stations at the park. We had talked about this, but it wasn't really a priority item. But now it says the Biden administration is forcing the auto industry to move towards the elimination of internal combustion engines and into purely electric vehicles such as Tesla, GM, Ford, Stellantis, formerly Chrysler. VW, Volvo, BMW, and Toyota have all stated their fleets will be fully electric by the mid-2030s. Every manufacturer already has fully electric vehicles like Ford's Mustang E-Mach, Chevy Bolt, BMW's i0, and others. The main roadblock to convert the automobile from gas to electric is three things: lack of charging infrastructure, the amount of time it takes a vehicle to charge, and the battery mileage range. Once charging stations are as common as gas stations, an EV can travel the same distance on a tank as on a charge as on a tank of gas, and it doesn't take any longer to charge a vehicle as it does to fill the gas tank. EVs will replace gas-powered cars. Battery technology is advancing rapidly, and the Biden administration has pledged to have 500,000 charging stations nationwide as part of the $32 trillion infrastructure bill that Congress is discussing now. There should be massive amounts of grant money available for this in the next several years. We already have a pretty hefty electrical infrastructure here at the park, so this could be a relatively easy project for us to do, and we could probably get it financed out of that money. You know, to me, this is kind of a no-brainer, but you know, that's you guys' decision. And then we have the question about selling the kayak property park and buying some industrial land for an industrial park. Revisit, construct a restaurant and lounge building on the North Shore, and repaint the mural on the overpass at the north end of Belfair. This would be a fairly low budget project, especially if we could get a local artist or more than one to donate the murals. Also, we could partner within community groups like Rotary and perhaps Boys and Girls Club to clean and power wash the overpass beforehand. Perhaps we could get a local business to donate the paint as well. So anyway, those are basically it, you know, and I got to pave our parking lots. The last time that we re-rocked everything was about $9,000. And even if we just paved our parking lots in, you know, 50 feet at a time, you know, eventually it'll pay for itself because we're not buying rock, and rock's going up in price. So, you know, we have to get it graded and rocked about every other year. So.
Larry, I had asked before about selling the kayak park. Did you look into that? Are we even allowed to, because it was RCO grant?
I can't get a straight answer, to tell you the truth.
Okay,
So, you know, this is just kind of like a review. We don't have to make a decision about any of this tonight. We need to do, I believe, a full public process like we've done in the past for, you know, the upgrades to the plan. We have to have the upgrades adopted by March 1st of next year.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we still got a little time on this. But
Well,
anyway, I just
that's
wanted
great.
you all to think about this stuff and, you know, come up with some questions and, you know, take it from there when we start the process.
great. Sounds good. Thank you, Larry. So you don't need any,
No, we don't need any
no decisions, but we
No.
need, is it going to be on the website for people to look at?
Yeah, I can, it was up with the meeting documents, but I'll
Okay.
have Greg break it out and list it separately.
Great. Good.
Okay.
Any commissioners, any questions for Larry?
I had one question. We're regarding the upgrade to Lynch Cove swimming pool. I'm gonna have to get schooled up on that whole proposition. So we don't have to get into deep details on it or anything like that right now. We got plenty of time, but I did have one question. Is it so we not, I mean, once if we were to be involved with that, how, I guess the bottom line is like, what, is that just like a community effort to do what the community is asking for, and anybody can go there? Is that the deal there?
Yeah, let me kind of explain that.
Okay.
This came under Commissioner Cooper's suggestion last year.
Okay.
The Lynch Cove Owners Association, or whatever it is that owns the pool, they cannot qualify for grant money. We can qualify for grant money.
I understand that.
What the plan was that we would get the grant money to fix the pool, do whatever they needed to do, and then we would step back kind of like the same situation we have with Sweetwater Park. They would run the pool, but it will have to be open to the public. And when Commissioner Cooper had talked to them about it, they had agreed to that. It doesn't have to be open 24/7, but it does have to have regular scheduled times that it's open to the public. But we would not have any ongoing maintenance costs or staffing costs or anything. We would simply be a conduit for them to get grant money to fix the pool, but it would need to be open to the public.
Okay.
Any other questions? No, I don't have any. So are we done with new business? Oh, wait, we have a couple more, I'm sorry. Okay, discussion of scheduling the executive session to discuss the potential litigation.
I had a discussion with Joe Brogan yesterday, and he's supposed to meet with or talk to Brad Carey sometime next week. So maybe we need to just table this and wait and see how it goes, and then I'll just get with all of you and we'll schedule it. You
Okay,
know, we'll notice it as a special meeting like we did the last time, but you know, I guess that things are kind of at a talking stage right now. So let's just let it play itself out.
That's good.
okay.
Okay.
Next item would be just the attendance of the Washington Public Ports Small Ports Conference. Is that going to be Zoom or are they going to have it in person
It's supposed to be in person from what we understand. That's what we've been told.
at Leavenworth?
Yes. Leanne has made reservations for everybody. We just need to know who's actually going to go.
I'll be going. Oh, what is the dates?
Leanne.
You're muted.
I think it's the 19th, 20th, and 21st, but she can qualify that.
Yeah, it's the Wednesday through Friday. I think that's the 20th, 21st, and 22nd. Let me look at a calendar. Yes, 20th, 21st, and 22nd. And the 20th is just a travel day.
Well,
And
sign
that's
me up.
September.
No,
Yeah.
October,
October.
Oh, okay.
October. Sign me up.
We've got rooms, so yeah.
I would
We
like to
gotta-
attend
we gotta-
too.
We got to pay for them, so we want to be sure we know who's going.
Boy, I would strongly encourage all you guys to go. You
Oh, yeah.
learn so much. It's really great.
Yeah, I'm on board.
Okay, Ted?
Same with me.
okay.
I would like to propose that Sunshine go. She can stay in my room, so it won't cost anything, but she's so curious on wanting to learn about the ports and stuff, so that would be
Oh,
really.
fantastic. Yeah,
That's a great
that'd be
idea.
great. At least I'm for it. I think that'd be great.
Yeah.
I can learn
On the-
right along with Sunshine.
Yes.
Yeah, you learn so much from these. They're just fantastic. Okay. Is that it for new
That's it
business,
for new
I think?
business. That's it for new
Okay.
business.
So now we're to public comment. So try to keep it to 3 minutes. And who is first? Do I see Jeff? Are you? Okay, Jeff, please. Oh, you're muted, Jeff. There you go.
Okay, how's that go?
There
That-
you go. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Just a couple things on the, I realize you're gonna have other meetings, so I won't go into too much detail with the potential comprehensive plan projects. I would always keep a bias towards having the private sector do things. So like, for example, where we have the restaurant and lounge on the North Shore, I'd really seriously look at that as more of a private sector side versus the port doing it. And especially, at least as long as we have this COVID opportunity, things that are that type of groups, more groups of people get together, I think we should take a more wait and see how that all shakes out before we get too far into any of those projects, because nobody would have guessed where we would have been today 2 years ago. And so I personally don't think that's a good place for the port to focus on as far as a project, but obviously the board has to discuss it. One other area, I looked into it a little bit on the electric charging stations, And a number of analogies have been made in different companies that do research and on people's habits and how things go in markets and what have you. And there's a belief, or when I say belief, at least what they're documenting and sharing with the public is that on charging stations, it's much like looking at cars, 80 years ago. And so I remember personally, as a kid, like south end of Seattle, all kinds of gas stations. But in the end, there's like only 3 now. And so and what they're saying, pointing out in the write-up is, if it's local people, they're going to charge at home because it's just cheaper if they have an electric vehicle. You're going to always have some that need it. But I'd really look at the return on investment of whether that really pays for itself, and really an area that the port needs to focus on.
You have 30 seconds.
Oh dear. Well, I'll ask 2 other questions. One, on the executive director's report, the water systems issue, there was an issue with an easement that needed to be worked out. And I was curious what that is, because of properties in the area. And, so I'm curious about what that easement issue is, because it doesn't look like to me the port has room for sanitary setback up there for
Well,
that easement.
I can explain that if you like. It basically affects the property behind us, behind the tank.
Okay.
And as you know, there has to be 100-foot circle with no potential for contamination.
Right.
And the majority of this falls on that one property. And it says you can't put a septic tank on it, can't do a couple other things on it, and
Right.
that's it. And I went and met with the property owner, and she said that, she had no intention of doing any of that stuff anyway, and she didn't have a problem with it. But that's all it is. It's just clearing out that 100-foot area.
Okay.
Did you have your other question, Jeff?
I'm looking real quick.
Okay.
Oh, the other thing is there any way, instead of having a temp, transcribe these voicemail messages, isn't there any way that you could just, copy them off, store them on disk, log them to Excel sheet of what, what the contents, what the basic thing is? And
No.
if people,
And we've looked at everything, and on the advice of our attorney, this is the best way for us to do it, because we want them word for word.
well, I mean, that would be word for word, wouldn't it? I mean, the file itself.
Well, we tried doing that last time, and the
Oh.
last time we had a public records request for voicemail messages, and it was just a disaster. So this is the best way for us to do this.
Okay.
And there's-
I'm not happy about incurring the cost.
No, I mean, to me, it just seems like you say the file, you put it over on the
No,
heading.
you can't save the file. That's the thing.
No, not on the phones.
Not
no.
on the phone. You can save text messages. You can't save voicemail messages.
And the voicemail, can I butt in here? The
Yes,
voicemail
please.
has, it goes to text, but we all know voice to text
Right.
comes up with some really funny things.
Okay.
And
No,
yeah,
I
it's
just,
better to
that
listen
was
to
my,
transcribe.
that was my question, because I was thinking more of the other part, but I get it. So I
That's
appreciate it.
that's what we tried to do last time, and it's just not worth it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Bonnie, I see that you're still on. Would you like to have anything to say?
You're muted.
Yay, I unmuted. Sorry about the video. I got nothing tonight. Yeah, I'm excited about the 100-year anniversary. Congratulations, everybody. And we will definitely be there. I'm just excited for it. And Sergeant Oyster House, we have another guy lined up yet to do the sighting, and another one is dropping out. So that's just beyond frustrating. I mean, just crazy. The other thing, I like charging stations. I think they're a good idea, depending on if Larry thinks it's going to work right. I mean, they're kind of a time that's come. I don't think you ought to sell the kayak park because I think you got it with the grant and I think you probably have to pay the grant back because it hasn't been 30 years yet. Might have been, but I don't think so. And what's the other thing that you were going to do? I was going to say yes or no on. I don't remember. Anyway, that's congratulations on the 100 years and for hanging in there, Judy Scott, for 21 years or 22 years. I'm so proud of you. We're lucky to have you.
20 October 2nd.
I knew it was pretty close. Knew it was pretty
Yeah,
close.
go figure.
You've been such a blessing and so good for the public. Anyway,
Well,
that's
thank
all I
you.
can say.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Yes, Larry.
I'd like to address Jeff's concern about the electric vehicle charging stations.
Mhm.
You know, as you all know, I'm a nationally published automotive writer, and I'm probably closer to this than anyone else. They're coming, whether we want them or not, they're coming. There's there's a guy named Bob Lutz, L-U-T-Z, who wrote an article, I'm going to say 4 years ago. Bob Lutz was the head of product for General Motors. He's called the father of the Corvette. You know, the Corvette was his idea. And he wrote an article that said, this is coming. And if you look at investment materials and, investment consultants, they will tell you another coming trend is called transportation as a service, to where you won't own a car. All the cars will be owned by, Uber and Lyft and whoever else. And you will call up and order a car, which will be electric, and it'll be driverless. It will come and take you where you want to go and drop you off and come pick you up and take you where you want to go. We'll have less needs for parking lots because these will all be parked together and we don't have to leave room for people to get in and out of them. They'll all be computerized. It's coming. He said it was coming within 5 years. I think he was off by 10 years. But every single auto manufacturer is building an electric vehicle now, and they are all going to have their entire fleets converted to where they don't build gas-powered cars by the mid-2030s. One of the things that we did when I was in Port Orchard is we mandated an electrical circuit in every new home to be designated for electrical charging station for electrical cars. And we put in charging stations in downtown Port Orchard 2010. They can make money for the port. It's a case of you want to plug your car in, put your credit card in first. So, it's a new revenue stream for us. But it's coming, whether, I'm a horsepower guy. I'm not thrilled about it, but it's coming,
I've got a question for you, Larry.
Just a second. Ford has almost 1 million reservations for the F-150 Lightning pickup. Think about that for a minute.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So, okay, John.
Yeah, my question to you, sir, is so like a new phone, sometimes the FCC dictates certain plugins and arrangements. Like with technology changing, is there a mandated particular plug in the industry that everybody has to use?
It's already standardized.
Okay, I didn't know. All right.
Yeah, it's already standardized.
All right.
Well, that's good. That's
Yeah.
a switch.
Yeah, that'd be like your worst nightmare. But
Right.
Yeah.
until charging stations are as numerous as gas stations, to where you go plug your car in, go into the mini mart, get yourself a Coke and an ice cream or something and come back, until they can get charging to where it doesn't take any longer to fill up, and it doesn't go any less miles than a tank of gas. I think it won't be a complete takeover, but battery technology is advancing so rapidly, it's not that far away.
Can I make one more comment?
Please.
Several people in my family already have Teslas or electric cars. When they come visit me, they'd have to plug into my house. I'd really like it if they could plug in down at the port. And just saying, I don't have one yet, but several in my family already do. So, I mean, it's just logical. It's just a convenience like another gas station.
Great.
It's not if, it's when.
Mhm.
And if not you, who?
Exactly.
Also, I'd like to introduce Sunshine. She's been our temp and she's been transcribing things and welcome, Sunshine. You're muted, however. If you can unmute yourself,
Hello.
thank you. So
Nice to
just
meet you.
want to say thank you for doing what you've been doing and really appreciate your help.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure to meet all of you, and I've had lots of fun every day in the office.
Great.
I can state she has really
Be
just
with
dug,
Leanne.
she's dug into the files, gotten rid of some really old, like, things that have been audited that just need to go, and she sits and she's shredded. She started binders for our project files and stuff. Just really dug in. It's just been wonderful, even though she's very confused. It's like, what-
She's
Lots of
doing a
layers.
great job.
Thank you.
We're really glad to have her there. She's doing a great job for us. So
That's
Awesome.
A lot to
wonderful.
learn. Lot to learn.
Thank you, Sunshine, and welcome. That's great. Great to
Thank
have
you.
you on the team. Okay, anything else for the good of the order, gentlemen, ladies?
Real quick, with regards to Mr. Fawcett's request, before that's approved, and we're just a few days away from the event that he wants to plan. I would like to see the commissioners either agree or disagree. Right now, he hasn't answered very few of the questions that the executive director asked him. And I think if he ever gets it done, if he doesn't, I'm in opposition. So I think we need to have that discussion, Larry, if he provides all the information, if we need to have another meeting, but he hasn't provided it. So,
We can do a Zoom meeting probably if we need to have a special meeting.
it would have to be tomorrow or Saturday.
exactly.
wow.
But I think you asked very, very good questions that I wasn't happy with the answers. So,
Okay, well, we'll wait for Art's response and then Saturday I have some time. I think that might be more available for me if that's possible, but
Well, how about
we'll
if I send him a note tonight and tell him we have until noon on Saturday to, have this information to us. And, we'll meet, say 1 o'clock on Saturday and
I'll still be in Silverdale, so could we make it a little later?
yeah, we can make it whatever time you want. I'm just saying, give him until noon on Saturday to get it to us and
Okay.
then, proceed from there. So what's a
Okay.
good time for everybody?
I'm very flexible Saturday. It's just a matter of stopping whatever I'm doing and then picking it back up. I just one of those.
Yeah, I think I'll be done by 2.
Well, you want to say 3 o'clock? Does that work for everybody?
Yes, that would be fine.
yes, that works.
Is his event, does he want to do it on Monday or Saturday?
Well, he wants to do it Labor Day weekend. That's all he said. He
Yeah,
hasn't given
it's
us an
Saturdays,
exact
yeah.
date. That's part of the problem.
Yeah, and I have to have 24 hours to notice the press.
Oh,
That's all.
oh,
That's my
wow,
rule.
okay.
Let's notice the Zoom meeting for Saturday at 3 p.m.
Sounds great. And the last thing, Leanne, I'm going to have a long list. I'm going to make it as short as possible. Some things we need to do for the salmon bake. We do have some volunteers that are going to help us cook the salmon. Luckily, Tom and Karen Johnson are going to donate the alderwood. So I'm going to need some strong people to help cook salmon, but I think we're getting there. So there's just a couple of things that to make it that I'm going to have to purchase. So.
Okay.
I can do, let me
Jason
know.
said- Okay, Jason said he's got 4 volunteers for cooking.
Okay,
And then I just called Sunshine, I don't, Gethsemane Ministries for
That's
some
in
volunteers.
Yosemite.
Yeah, okay. For the volunteers for setting up the stage and the beer garden area. And then I've talked to, what is his name? Tony from Bent Vine, and he's volunteering his truck and stuff, and they're gonna come out and help set up because he's gonna use our stuff on Saturday for his event. So it looks like we're getting some volunteers together, and then Sunshine and I are gonna have our, we're gonna do the, I forgot, food handlers permit.
Okay,
So, and I've got a guy, the guy that does the sound system said he has commercial equipment to cook clams, so that would be perfect for the mussels, and I figure I can be on mussels, that's fine.
that'd
So,
be great. So if I could just get, I'll just do the salmon
call
team,
tomorrow.
250, we could crank out 250 pieces of salmon within a couple hours. And the last thing I was gonna ask you, I don't know why you said a trigger word, but do we need to get a fire permit? Is there still a fire ban up in North Mason?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I
yeah,
know
I'll
last
do
time
that
Commissioner
tomorrow.
Scott raised that, and I know Seattle went down to a phase 2, or King County went down to a phase 2. I'm not sure if we're still on a phase 1.
I'll check that out.
Okay,
I'll send
yeah.
Scott a note tonight.
Yeah, I don't mean to dump that on you. That was something I was thinking about in the drive
No,
home.
it's good.
Well, hey, you know
good
what?
catch.
The for Allen Days, we had to get a special okay for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk to the fire marshal.
Okay,
ASAP.
Will do.
And I can help cook. I've got a food handler's permit, and if you need any equipment, I have plenty of pots and pans and whatever you need.
Yeah, okay. Yay, we're gonna pull it off.
Yeah, I've got to write Norm Dix's speech yet, but it's going to be short. So,
Okay, anything else for the good of the order? No? Okay, well, thank you very much, folks. Thank you, Jeff.
yeah, have a
Thank you,
great
Deidre.
week.
Yes.